I'm gonna do that again. It didn't go through. It seems easier every day to wonder if America has lost its memory, and it seems even easier to believe that what many of us thought and felt about our country 42 months ago is different today as we sit in July of an election year. Growing up, a lot of us took it for granted that we lived in the greatest country on earth, and it was an automatic. Didn't the greatest generation survive the Great Depression, defeat Japan and Hitler's Germany, and leave Europe without claiming any territory? We came home, implemented in the Marshall Plan, rebuilt whole nations, passed the GI Bill, signed the National Highway Act that opened up the country, helped create suburbs, defeated polio, matched Sputnik, went to the moon, applauded Elvis Presley, said hello to the shitty Beatles, and goodbye to JFK, Martin Luther King, and Bobby Kennedy, while so many had so much dignity stolen from them in places like Birmingham, Alabama, Mississippi, and Massachusetts, and has too many lives and part of our soul disappeared in Vietnam. We got through Nixon, Watergate, gas lines, and huge inflation. Reagan, Bush, the first Gulf War. Clinton never had sex with that woman and never explained why he pardoned Mark Rich. The Supreme Court elected George W. Bush, and we nearly elected the dumbass John Kerry. We did witness a cloud of fear covering a perfect blue sky on September 11th with the president acting like a leader in that particular moment as he stood in the smoke and embers only to turn and light up the Middle East where the fire still burns. We saw Barack Obama arrive carrying a gift of hope that remains largely unopened. We have been eyewitnesses to Russia, a sworn enemy seeking to disrupt our elections, and we go through the days as spectators in the sideline as the dead keep coming home to Dover, Delaware, in flag-draped steel caskets to tears and questions. Through it all, the good, the bad, the memorable, and the instantly forgotten, America has bumped along while millions of our citizens were left without equal access to pieces of their citizenship we take for granted. The right to vote, to be pulled over for a traffic stop without fear, to stroll around a supermarket or department store without being followed, and to expect children to learn in a safe environment, and to walk a city street without being stared at, and to also never be hungry. We were never a perfect nation, but a lot of the time we tried and failed, but then kept on trying. We, well, we were and are an imperfect nation, an imperfect people living in this huge, sprawling, multicolored, open, free land called America. No matter the built-in defects placed in our story by our own hand and our own history. Hold on a second. In our own history, it's remained a land of opportunity, one that's always in the process of reworking itself, remaking itself, and redefining itself, hopefully for the better. And no matter what tragedy or inequality occurred, no matter how shocking, terrible, and unfair it was, the sun kept coming up in the morning, and optimism, optimism always emerged from the shade, and the darkness and the embers until now. Until our memory of who we really are and what we have done and what we have meant in the world around us, the good, the bad, all of it, and who we really want to be was lost, crushed by a man who looks at a global epidemic, more than 3.5 million infections, and well over 100,000 deaths, millions more unemployed with rent and mortgages due, with furlough being a simple word for no future like the one you just lost. Looks at that and feels sorry only for himself. He talks, rambles actually about grievance and not governance. His whole life has been a litany of lies. He is always the victim and is so blinded by the swollen size of his ego that he cannot see and does not recognize the casualties left behind. America. The presidency itself, the nation's citizens who at a minimum expected protection, defense, and calming, competent hand against enemies, medical and military, seeking to harm our democracy. He is a failure, an incompetent, simply not up to the job. And for those who claim he is a master at marketing, promoting, identifying, and picking at the scabs of resentment formed on the beliefs that so many voters, his inbred base, his election in 2016 is proof that while he knows how to tap into fear, he has little idea about and less interest in the lives of 328 million Americans. What he does not realize, though, is that there's always been one dominant emotion that has bound every American to one another. It is called loss. Every normal person is familiar with this. And they have experienced it at some level, losing a job, a paycheck, a house, health insurance, admission to a college, a roster spot in a Little League team, losing hope, losing a spouse, a child, pride, dignity, self-respect, losing a sense of place in your own small universe. Comprehending loss is beyond his grasp. He casts himself as a stranger to loss, and losing something, anything or anyone could mark you as a loser, not to him. So this is what we have here in the middle of the summer of 2020, a man who turns a mask into a joke, who is incoherent and invisible in the heat of a lethal battle against a virus that is consuming our country, battering our confidence, bleeding our economy, and provoking the legitimate questions about who we really are and where we are going and what has happened to the United States of America. On November 3rd of 2020, we might find this out. Okay, if you like the video, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And also hit the notification bell so that when I post videos, you'll be the first to know when a new video comes out. And thanks for listening.